I think they're going back to the Super Bowl regardless of all these problems that stand in front of them. The Eagles are so far ahead of people that it's not falling into the post-Super Bowl trap of before. Oh, what's going on, Philadelphia? And CJ, GJ, for fucking talking shit, because I do agree that Juju Smith-Schuster is toilet water. We'll get into that later. Hi, Bird Brains. I'm John Barchard along with Vince Quinn. And there he is again. It's Mr. Thomas Petersen, still hanging out in Philadelphia. I can't believe it. How are you, buddy?
And I'm here because I didn't get rejected from my flight. It's just because I'm actually leaving tomorrow. We're still we're on a good record still. Yeah, I was surprised we got that introduction like 2 days after losing the Super Bowl.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, we're on to the next thing.
We're on. Yeah. Like, why am I, Vince Quinn? Why am I? We're on. This is over, baby. We're on to the off season. I'm excited. I don't know why everybody's moping around here. You know, this is it's time to pick your shit up and crack a liquid death, which I'm going to do right now. There you go. And I'm pumped. Shane Steichen's gone. Jonathan Gannon's gone. The world of possibilities is open. Let's rock and roll. Everybody's saying Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. All these, other people that weren't in the Super Bowl are still crying and yip-yapping, and I love it. I fucking love it. This is great. Everyone just doubted everything that just happened. It's the easiest schedule. The cap problems are so hard. There's not enough. What are we doing here? I'm happy. Why are you happy? I'm happy.
Yeah, I think the sadness left my body with all the scotch.
Thank God.
It's all out now. I'm a happy person again. I'm ready to go. I mean, look, that season was amazing. We just witnessed the most impressive team I've ever seen in this town. I don't care that they didn't win it. They were fucking awesome. Top to bottom. You love all the guys. Just crazy good talent. But yeah, Jalen's the man. We spent months this whole offseason. Can he start? Can he throw the ball over the middle of the field? I don't fucking know. That was 5 months ago.
Can the team win in spite of Jalen Hurts? Like, we just witnessed a historically bad defensive performance in a Super Bowl. Let me throw this at you. This season, the worst defensive performance by any defense in any game this season was the Detroit Lions against the Eagles Week 1. Where Lions gave up 6.2 yards per offensive play. In the Super Bowl, Eagles gave up 6.4 yards, so 0.2 more than the worst performance. So we had the worst defensive performance in the entire season. You had running backs. We talk so much about this three-headed monster the Eagles have at running back. They showed up for 2.3 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Miles. Get out, Miles.
Jalen Hurts.
And the turf for that.
Robbie Gould.
Well, we can get in it.
Jalen Hurts comes out and plays quarterback, if that's what you want him to do, comes out here with the highest, like PFF or not, look with your eyes. He had the highest graded passing Super Bowl of any quarterback ever. The second highest performance next to who? Nick Foles.
Yes. Will everyone remember it? No, because why? They lost the last game of the fucking season.
But what they will remember is that Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now.
And I can't believe not you, Thomas, and not you, Vince Quinn, but finally, thank God, you're on board. Yeah.
I've been on board most of the season, since like week 3. Yeah.
But I think there is a massive opportunity to see whether we believe the hype or not, Jalen Hurts really likes Brian Johnson. So let's start there. Shane Steichen's gone. Why can't I be happy about this? People are mad that I'm happy that Shane Steichen's gone. It's like a split. Everyone's looking at Shane and going like, yeah, dude, ever since he took over play calling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like we've said this at nauseum for a year and a half. That's been my main target for a long time. And you want to know why? Because I apologize to a fellow over at QB School who does a fantastic job. Somebody remind me of his name. TJ O'Sullivan. Said it again because I'm sitting there watching Super Bowl tape and going, there's no fucking hot reads. None. Zero. And you know what Jalen Hurts does with no hot reads? Becomes an amazing athlete, bends way back to his right, and finds Zach Pascal for a first down and more, which is one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen in a Super Bowl, period, what he pulled off there. And I can't believe that we're sitting here talking about, Shane Steichen's gone in his offense and has had no options for Jalen Hurts during a blitz. None. All year. And someone can go dispute that with me if you find a hot read anywhere, but that did not exist, and it made his job even harder than I thought this entire season, especially in the Super Bowl. And he still did that. So, yes, I want to see what Brian Johnson's all about. Of course. That was terrible what I witnessed.
Because that kind of feels like the ultimatum, right? Either Shane Steichen is gonna stay, Brian Johnson's got to get an OC job with the Ravens or the Panthers. I mean, that's basically just like that's almost a fact at that point. They had so much interest in him, they were ready to sign him as soon as the season finished. Shane leaves, and that leaves a natural opening for Brian. So, I mean, between him and Jeff Stoutland staying, and Nick Sirianni's philosophy of offense, don't worry a bit. I can tell you the entire offensive line success. Credit that to Jeff Stoutland.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Stoutland University shirt.
Speaking of which, the whole rushing offense, don't worry about it. Jeff Stoutland will take care of it. Nick Sirianni's philosophy of how Jalen is basically just reading whatever the defense is giving him and making a decision off of that, and the passing offense. It might sound weird, but it can't get worse. I mean, like you said, this wasn't the specific design offense. Like, they weren't going to make it easy on Jalen Hurts. Go look at the Super Bowl. Look at the passes he made. Were those easy throws? Hell no. They're difficult throws to make, and he made them again and again and again. And that's not even attributing him as a runner. Then all the running comes after.
Yeah, which is probably what everybody thought was going to be the focal point of all this, and that's where I don't know, Vince. People yell at me about this a lot. Stoutland and Sirianni is way more important than any offensive coordinator that's going to walk through here. Not to say that they don't have value. Shane probably had a lot of great ideas that folded into that and helped them out, along with everybody else that they're going back and forth with. But this is the problem with Doug, is that it never evolved after the Super Bowl. And, we'll get into Howie later in this conversation, too, because there's a lot of free agent stuff to kind of go through quickly. But I don't know. I just view this as a big positive for the franchise moving forward.
Well, yeah, let's be real. Some of the biggest moments of this season were Jalen Hurts drawing plays in the dirt. And he was just like, hey, Devontae, how about you go do this right now? And that's what he did, and he hit touchdowns. Like, it was fucking nuts. So what are the next steps for Jalen Hurts as a player, right? Because you're seeing all the running stuff and how they built the whole offense around that, and that's all well and good. But the next level thing for a guy that's that sharp and makes good decisions the way that he does all the time, it's all the Peyton Manning shit, right? Or dare I say, Tom Brady shit?
Oh, boy.
It's line of scrimmage. He's pointing around. He's going, hey, you go over here. All right, we're going to run this. You're going to do that route. And then, bam, he's going to make all those things happen if the play isn't where he wants it to be. That's the next level that he needs to go to. He's totally built for it, and that's where you got to be. That's what this whole offense in this whole offseason needs to be. How do we empower Jalen Hurts more to really read everything and absolutely control the game?
And nobody knows Jalen Hurts more than Brian Johnson. Taking the next step, knowing where he is in the process, is Brian Johnson.
Yeah, and to a point of his dad coached Brian Johnson, to a point that I think they got him to Utah, which is where I think he had his first OC job there. To say him and Jalen Hurts' relationship is massive, it's massive. It is massive. So that could be a lot of hype going into this too, because it's Jalen's guy. But man, I got to trust Jalen's word at this point. Yeah. If he's saying this dude knows what he's talking about, and he's going to be a big time guy, and it sounds like, just like you're saying, Thomas, everybody kind of would take him in Carolina. Man, Jesus, that'd be so fucking dangerous. They're just getting the band back together over there in Philly. That's another mini Philadelphia with Frank and who just went over there too. Sure, running back coach Deuce. Yeah, Deuce just joined the staff there too.
He did go over there.
So
it would be a big time opportunity as well for Brian to coach Lamar. If they were, if they were to re-sign him, that would be a natural fit. The same thing, the Brian Dable effect. You have a successful quarterback like you had with Josh Allen. Everybody wants a piece of that cake, and going into what develops a quarterback, it's a tough thing to do. Is it the player itself? Is it the system? Is it the coach? There's so many things to factor into that, but people will try to copy what provides success. And what Jalen Hurts has done, the steps that he's taken, you take what's closest to him, and that's the quarterback coach. He is we're talking about this now. Of how Shane Steichen was gone in 2 years. one more good year with Brian as the OC, he's a head coach.
Exactly. And that's where I think this kind of leads to, Vince, is like, it's an open door. How great of a place would you want to be with, like, man, do I want to coach a top 5 quarterback? Yes, I do. Can I implement my ideas? Yes, I can. Am I going to have the ultimate power and say? Absolutely not. Is it going to get me a job opportunity or a job in 1 or 2 years? Yes. So if the Eagles can cultivate an OC or whatever position they want to call it, overqualified QB coach, overqualified OC for a couple of years' time. Yeah, I dreamed of that with Doug. I dreamed that was going to happen with Carson. I was like, man, you're going to have to keep this thing interesting. You're going to have to push this thing forward, and now they can do that. I don't understand the downfall of, like, oh my God, they're losing the corners. Gannon's an easy one. That's an easy one to be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. No problem. Like, especially after that performance. I said I would be fine if he came back. I know the defense is going to be worse already. That's what I'm predicting. And then this offense is just going to keep getting better. And that's a good thing, because you're going to have to invest in all that money in the next couple of years anyway. And, baby, you got to pay Jalen Hurts this offseason. There is so much shit going on. I love this. But I don't know. Any thoughts on Gannon right away? I mean, like, other than good luck with that Arizona?
I mean, you can't plan for the situation that he was in. Let's be real. You can't plan for just slipping and a sliding, moving in. Like, nobody could stand on the field. Jake Elliott fell. Mahomes was falling. Reddick, like, all these guys just fell. And that's part of the thing that I've had to really take into account from the post game where we were then and where I am now is just they couldn't walk. I mean, nobody could do anything. Pass rush, both sides was completely inept. The Eagles are totally built for that, and they didn't have it. When you're Hassan Reddick and you're going around the edge, and what's the thing for him? It's the bend, right? It's these angles that he's taking with these guys to get around the edge and then go attack the quarterback and, knock Brock Purdy out of the fucking game because we're better than you, San Francisco. When you can do that kind of stuff, and then you go into the game, and if Reddick was injured going into this game, then I feel a little more strongly about Gannon because he's not there. He's not your best pass rusher is gone, so now you got to rebuild. What do you do? You're not blitzing, but he is healthy. All those guys were healthy. It was just they're on roller skates the whole game. So it's just one of those weird things.
And he got smoked by fucking the best offensive mind in football.
Mahomes never made a bad decision the whole game. He had guys open in key moments. That was Andy. So it's a really tough situation to be in. I think Gannon's going to learn something from that, and he is a young coach, and all these guys are young coaches, and that's really why when you go to the Eagles. That's the encouraging thing. Sirianni's already given you the great signs. This is where you want to be, right? You come to the Eagles, you've got a great quarterback. You can build creative offenses around him. You can do anything that you want in that regard. You have a great offensive line every year. That's always what they've done from the beginning of time. So you've got all the foundations there. You're going to have a say in the offense. You've got a good framework to work in. And if you do your job, you can get a head coaching gig in a year or two. Who doesn't want that spot?
Yeah, and I just really don't think that there is I don't know. I kind of think the same thing on defensive personnel. Like, I know everybody's going, man, you're going to have to rebuild this thing again, and look how many free agents there are. Good, man. Yes. I mean, whatever's going to come in next isn't going to be Vic Fangio, so it's never going to be like the exact.
Well,
maybe.
Promise you still want to sell us on that a little bit?
I know we got in that.
No,
in the
it's just
show.
we just looked a little bit at it, and how that whole thing of Vic saying it's not quite official, like holding on a little bit. Then it did come out that it was kind of like confirmed, and that he'll be the highest paid coordinator in the league. But it hasn't, like, at this point there hasn't been pen to paper. It hasn't been officially announced from the Dolphins side.
True.
So I mean, it's
and only verbal confirmation from Vic Fangio, right? Nothing else, right?
No,
no Miami Dolphin.
Nothing's been posted
right?
Officially from the Miami Dolphins. So and if a coach signs a piece of paper saying you're going to be our guy, that'll be announced. Like the team would announce that. So I mean. Could he do a complete 180, stay in Philadelphia? No, he's been a consultant here this year, so it would be easier for him. It will be more relevant. Like, he knows the system, he knows the players, he knows what's good, he knows what's bad. So it would be a more easy fit for him. But then again, like, what's he like with commitment, and like, because if he has the verbal agreement, he'll be the highest paid coordinator ever.
And then to turn that down and just be like, actually, Howie gave me the same offer. Yeah. It'd be a stretch at this point.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that they'd have any great outside hires to run this, but Jeff McLean did say this, and if Jeff McLean's saying this, I don't think this is opinion.
That's all
this
you
is
need to hear.
informed opinion. This is always how it's framed here. But he said this afternoon. If the Eagles don't look internally to replace Jonathan Gannon, there are options outside of the team. One to consider is Panthers linebacker coach Peter Hansen, not necessarily a well-known name, but worked under Vic Fangio, knows the current scheme, has good reputation. I don't know much about him other than I remember that he started with Stanford and Jim Harbaugh, and then came over with the San Francisco crew during the Super Bowl years and the playoff run with Kaepernick and all that. And then I think he went back to college. But so that's a possibility.
Another name that has some familiarity with the Eagles before would be Gerard Mayo. Linebacker coach of the Patriots. Like he
was on everybody's list last year, by the
exactly.
way. Very sought after.
He interviewed a lot of places, including Philadelphia. And basically he was like he just didn't get a gig anywhere. And it's been announced that he is staying, and it's been said like we're retaining him here. But also Jonathan Gannon said 2 weeks ago that he's not going anywhere. And these things.
Yeah, we did say. I completely forgot about
Yeah.
Yep.
Coaches lie all the time, by the way, if we haven't fucking figured that out by now. So,
yeah. So I think that was. Can we agree that was probably the height of Jonathan Gannon's tenure here? Was that we're gonna fucking gut these guys clip. I'm not going anywhere right after that. And then the complete downfall of not getting a single stop in the second half of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And going back to that thing, I mean, it's hard to scheme your way against Andy Reid, Bieniemy, and Patrick Mahomes. But when you're seeing a full half of guys slipping around on the field, you come out in the second half and you say, "Oh, let's do that again." I mean,
it's and that's why everybody's happy today, and they should be.
But it's got to be more. It's got to be a little bit more difficult to replace. Like you don't have Denard Wilson is probably the only right there candidate that you can think of.
Well, there is one other guy that I think we all know should be defensive coordinator, Seth Joyner.
All right, I'm glad we got that one out of the way.
Just had to say it.
Yeah,
just had to say it. We can move on.
Let's leave that hanging.
The guy that questioned Jordan Davis's weight publicly, right?
Yeah, that was yeah.
Who would do that?
That wouldn't be
not Vince Quinn. I'll tell you that.
Who
much.
would do that?
Wouldn't be awkward at all.
He did lose a lot after I said it, though. You're welcome.
I know it's. I actually think it's going to be a harder time. This is not pro Gannon, but I think the defense is still going to have a harder time to get back to itself. And I just that's only because I don't believe this team is going to draft a corner. Now it kind of looks like they're going to draft a corner. I don't trust them to draft a good one. I don't think they're going to have the cojones to pay Bradbury. I'm not exactly sure still what to do with Slay at this point. One of them's got to hang around.
Slay's going to hang around.
Slay's going to hang around.
Contractually, they can't get out of it.
Right. Even in a trade? Out of curiosity?
Don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
We'll do some Googling.
But for the most part, it's going to be really hard to rebuild this defense. And that's okay because, from year to year, that should be the case.
Well, and look at all the things that you still have to work with, right? Yeah, I mean, right now you've got a guy that is a solid number one corner in Darius Slay, so there's nothing wrong with that. You've got one of the best pass rushers in the league right now. You still have depth on the defensive line. Josh Sweat is damn good. Like, you're filling in a lot of the gaps. We've never cared about linebacker, and who knows what Nakobe Dean is still. There's just like
nothing.
There's enough.
Should have drafted Desmond Ridder. No big deal.
There's enough things. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what they need is Desmond Ridder after Jalen Hurts has a season like that.
After we just saw Gardner Minshew, you goddamn that's for way deep in the offseason. But yeah. QB two QB system over here.
But like the nice thing is it's not like you're losing your star player and oh my God, like the way this whole team has worked, what are we going to do? You still have the star pieces and a good foundation, and it's just how are you filling in some of these gaps? So it's really not that bad.
No, but it's like but it's true what John's saying. It's gonna look different. And probably now Gannon's going to take away, probably is Nick Rallis going to go, the linebacker coach? Is Denard Wilson even going to stay? Probably some of the, Mike Sim has been brought up as well as, a candidate for the Eagles DC job. He's probably going to be DC with Jonathan Gannon, potentially. So there's going to be some moving pieces on the coaching staff. There's going to be moving pieces on the player side. They're going to pay Jerron Hargrave. Both linebackers are probably, are set to be free agents at this point. TJ is probably going to be outpriced for what the Eagles would want to invest in a linebacker. Bradbury's gone. Chauncey's not here. So, but I mean, this is the exact same thing that we were at heading into last season. And this is where Howie Roseman is good. Like, this is where he can find these guys where you're like, out of nowhere, boom, a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson comes in. Like, where did that come from? And now we're talking about extending this guy and paying him safety money. Like, James Bradbury out of nowhere comes in here. Like, it wasn't because James Bradbury was this like top player before he entered the Eagles scheme here, and with the pass rush that they have. And like you said, Vince, like the core foundation of their pass rush, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham 100% wants to come back to the team. He said he's going to play another year. Swing him in on a 1-year deal as that third guy at edge, and you got the same core of pass rushers. The interior is going to look different. Milton Williams is going to have to step up. You want Jordan Davis to take more snaps. We'll see if it's going to be Javon Hargrave or somebody else that's going to, continue there in the middle if they can afford Javon Hargrave and what he would like to do in terms of like discount. Because if he's wanting to be paid like a top 3 defensive tackle, that's $20 million plus. Not going to happen.
And I don't. That's kind of where I'm at too. Is just you pay CJ, whatever you want, and then you figure it out after that. And you kind of fill it in. Yeah, that probably is Brandon Graham for another year and all that. I'm not paying. I've come to the conclusion that the Eagles just can't do it with Hargrave. I don't even think they can do it if it's under market somehow, 15 million, 16. I just don't see it happening. And I think Howie knows this too, which means you got to replace probably 2 of those honkers. It's going to be a little different in the middle.
There's got to be a lot of there's got to be, and with new defensive coordinators, there's going to be some new wrinkles to the defense, but that's okay. Like, if you're going to play an aggressive style of defense, it's fine. Like, you're going to give up touchdowns. You're going to have a rough first half of next season, probably, most likely.
Yeah.
Get our expectations straight. But you have a top 5 quarterback. You have an offense that is set for so many years with a core that's going to win you games. And if this Super Bowl if they learned anything from this Super Bowl, you go for it on 4th down. You always try to get the touchdown because they're so damn efficient at it. They're so good.
And they fucking blinked twice. God damn it. I'm still mad at that. I'm still mad at them, by the way. And that's, a whole other thing. But yeah, man, I just don't think everyone believes that Jalen Hurts still is this and this core of offensive people with probably inviting Jalen Hurts or Jason Kelce back. These guys want to go back and do this thing, and maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's a liquid death, but I think they're going back to the Super Bowl regardless of all these problems that stand in front of them, because I'm still looking at the landscape of the NFC. Yes, things can change dramatically, but there's going to be another huge quarterback carousel of Aaron Rodgers there. Derek Carr just got cut from the Raiders. There's this, there's that. There isn't a grasp of anybody. You got to go develop people. The Eagles are so far ahead of people that it's not falling into the post-Super Bowl trap of before. And I don't know why everyone assumes they're going to make the same mistakes again, or how he's going to fuck all this up because he's got too many assets now. And he doesn't know how to maintain, but I'm not sure that's true anymore. I really all of this seemed planned post-Wentz. And he fucking fired all of the problems this past offseason, at least in his eyes, and it's worked out phenomenal. Phenomenal. You're not going to have another Sue and Joseph hit like that. No fucking way. But it doesn't mean you don't have a guy to push you forward every single year now, and things get easier when that happens. You have a top 5 guy.
Well, yeah, and let's be real here, right? I mean, the Eagles lost to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
And coaches.
With one of the greatest coaches of all time. And they lost at the highest score of a losing score of all time in a Super Bowl. There are so many rosters that are worse than the one that the Eagles had this year that have won the Super Bowl. There's a ton of them. I mean, honestly, this is one of the best rosters we've ever seen. And like you said, the NFC fucking sucks. Let's be real. I mean, Tom Brady's out. Rodgers is probably going to the AFC more likely than not. If Derek Carr, what did I do?
No, I said Jets.
Oh, Jets. Oh, I thought you said Vince. I was like, what? Did
No.
It's like I fucked something up. Okay. No, but yeah, the NFC's god-awful. There's nobody that's really a legitimate contender outside of San Francisco right now. That's really fun.
They're not contenders.
Good.
I'm going to say it right now because, dude, if they think they can maintain their success over and over again, you got to be kidding me. They just lost Mufasa. They don't have a quarterback still.
Lance?
Who knows? Who knows?
Jimmy G.
But even if they do,
up.
even if they
Jimmy G's
do,
not coming back.
Kyle Shanahan hates the guy that they drafted, and he would rather have somebody else. So that's already a problem. He's going to want to go away from him anyway. They will probably be back in the playoffs again, and it's going to look like shit. The way I've heard Deebo Samuel and all these guys yap all the time, it's just like their mind is elsewhere. It reminds me of the Giants team or the Bears team that thought their only problem was the kicker after the fucking double doink, and it was everything else that's wrong with that team. Who? That's what I'm saying. Who is going to re-challenge this? The weaker Dallas Cowboys now, who are constantly reshuffling? No, the people that rejected going to the Washington Commanders because they said, fuck that. Like, the NFC is a disaster, and no one wants to fix it except for the Eagles, it seems. Can anybody point to a team which I should be still, you talking all that shit? I'm going to keep talking that shit because nobody can beat this team.
Your
except
coach of the year?
The Chiefs. And no, not even the Giants are going to have to make a decision on Daniel Jones. They will probably get more out of him than they did this season. They'll probably have some decent, pieces around that roster. They'll be good.
Yeah.
They're not going to be that good.
Well, no, especially if they're paying Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley what those guys are looking to get in the market.
Yeah.
Drop $50 million on both those guys. Go ahead. Give them a combined 50. Have fun.
I think
Good-
just to
good
put
luck.
a sneaker in there, Green Bay, Jordan Love, if he looks like
There you go.
if he's a really good quarterback, I mean he tore it up against the Eagles and didn't really get the chance because Aaron Rodgers kept saying he wanted to play, and as long as he wanted to play, they'll allow him. But if Jordan Love takes a step, I mean Green Bay could be a really good team. But that's kind of the one I can.
Fair. That's fair.
That's kind of the one I. Cowboys are always a good team. They can always be a threat, but they just invest so differently from the Eagles.
Shittily. You can say it.
Elliott. I mean,
Yeah.
If they run this season with Zeke and they franchise tag Pollard, you want to talk
Please.
about cap management?
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's the that's why Howie's great, and that's why I'm not worried about all of
Right.
this stuff. I mean, me and Thomas even earlier today, or was it yesterday? Time's a blur. But we were talking about all the different contracts, and Thomas is like, "Oh, they can extend this guy, and they'll save $10 million, and they'll extend this guy, and they
Yeah.
can save $5 million." It's like all these different restructures can change so many things. Howie does that every single year. There's nothing to worry about in those regards. Like he knows the trends, he knows the values, he puts money in the right places. He's never going to spend money on linebackers in a big way. He's never going to spend money on running backs in a big way. He made a big swing on A.J. Brown and got one of the best deals in the league. He went after Hassan Reddick. What did he do? He got one of the best deals in the league.
Yes.
Hassan Reddick's what, $15 million a year? He's like $7 million under market right now, and he has 2 years left. I mean, it's like you can worry about all these different guys that are out there in the universe, but some of those guys are going to be rookies. Some of those guys will be whatever, free agents.
Yeah.
And you can still make a big swing or two, and they've got 2 picks in the first round and all the other picks. Like, it's just, there's nothing to worry about right now.
And you're going to upgrade your slot wide receiver. I can't imagine what's going to happen when, there's a capable guy that is available to Jalen Hurts. And, Goddard's still under contract for a while. Even when you pay Jalen a shitload of money now, which you should be, I'm going to mark that up to $57 million instead of $55. By the way,
God, stop it.
Is anyone now debating a 10-year contract at this point?
Yes.
How else are you going to make this work long term? How else are you going to make him Tom Brady? How else are you going to you have to pull the trigger right now. That's what I'm saying, and all of that can work. That's another discussion for another day. I know we've hashed that a couple of times, but you don't have to pay Jalen shit next year in terms of cap value. Nothing. It could be down to $6 million or something like that if you're paying him
backload
massive
the
guaranteed
contract.
money. And yes, and they should do. Make that 7, make that 5 if you're uncomfortable. But man, these guys have so many fucking assets
Right.
lined up with this timeline.
It doesn't matter if it's going to be we can get into length of contract and all this thing, but philosophically, I think it's very important that they pay Jalen Hurts this year and that he gets paid enough, because that's he is such a core foundation. Everything from on-field play to off-field leadership and the general put your head down, work your ass off, win football games. Rah-rah thing. It's not something that varies. He's the same guy all the time. He is such a vital element to the success of this season, and you want him to be bought in. You do not want to piss him off, because if he isn't around, if he's not bought into this thing, boy, does it change the entire perspective of the entire locker room. Jason Kelce does not want to come back if it wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. Basically, the entire team is put together by Jalen Hurts right now, and you want to compliment that. You want to say, "Good job, Jalen. You did everything we asked. Here's your contract. Here's your generous contract. They'll put you in the top of the market now." Then Justin Herbert gets paid. Then Lamar Jackson gets paid, and that's going to push Jalen Hurts down that quarterback,
really fast.
Relative, like
he'll be under market by fucking 3 days later when you sign him.
Yeah,
exactly.
Joe Burrow.
and I think Jalen Hurts, he's not going to take a discount, but I think he's going to be willing to get paid as the market is right now.
Definitely.
To have that security, have the team, get acknowledged by the team, and then he's going to get pushed down that quarterback paid ranking, and I think he's going to be just fine with it because it's going to allow more flexibility for the team. It's going to allow better pieces around him while he still got paid the market value at the time. I don't think he's going to have any problem with it. And that's a way you don't disrespect him, but it also gives the team like a hand up. Just the same with A.J. Brown. He is underpaid in terms of the contracts. He's not even in the wide receiver top five at all. Dallas Goedert, relatively underpaid. Hassan Reddick, massively underpaid. Josh Sweat, underpaid. Mailata, underpaid. The whole team the deals have been struck at a time where they were in the top 5-ish. Other guys get extended. Cap goes up. It looks great. Just to put an exclamation mark on this cap talk here. So right now with the new cap space, Eagles are projected at $8 million. That includes Jason Kelce,
which is middle of the road in terms of the rest of the NFL and where it's at right now.
Right.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. Jason Kelce is included in this with a cap hit of $11.5 million. That could be voided if he chooses to retire. So that would put $11.5 extra. He's not going to retire. We already put that. If the Eagles restructure some contracts after this, they can save. Just about $15 million with $12.5 million with Darius Slay, $10.5 million with Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
Boom, $25 million, and that includes Jason Kelce staying with the team.
And they've been doing that with Lane every single year. They've been doing that with anybody that has more than 2 years left on their contract. They're giving them that guarantee. This is the formula that just keeps working. I mean, it's just like, yes, you're going to be top 5 for right now. Yes, you would be under market value, but those dudes' contracts aren't guaranteed, and we're always willing to give you the guaranteed money to extend it here if you're doing a great job. It has never not been that way since I can remember Howie Roseman thoroughly taking over. And, man, and this is the other thing, Vince Quinn, are we literally going to fucking debate Howie Roseman going into this offseason? Are we really about to fucking do that? Because I refuse to do that after this year. Just let it play out. See what happens. And I would even say with the coordinator stuff, if you're not like, if it's not, it's going to take a little bit even. It's probably going to take a week. You still have to go through the process of whatever the NFL's telling you, man. But like, Howie's going to work this thing out. And it's going to be great. And there are going to be surprises, and we'll be happy.
Oh, yeah, well, yes. Dude, Howie is the best GM in the league. He's the best GM in the league. He is the one. He's not on the salary cap, right? He just works around it. So you're going to have him for as long as you want. It's one of the biggest advantages they have. It's why they've been one of the best teams, because he had previously Joe Banner, who was one of the best GMs for a while, and now he sucks and has terrible takes, including supporting the 49ers. Fuck you, Joe. But outside of that, I mean, it's just Howie is such a massive advantage. He always reads the market. If he loses deals, you don't even know about them because he flips these guys for other stuff anyway. And it's just unbelievable what he's able to do year in and year out. So I've stopped doubting Howie since like 2018.
Yeah.
There's just no point. He knows everything in the league. He reads all the trends. He sets the trends, and people follow him. That's why they hire all his people. And they're still not as good because they're all learning from him. He's always creating new shit. He's always moving forward. The way we're talking about this offense and the defense and evolving with the league, like how he does that. So I'm good.
And until Thursday, I want everybody to think about this question because I want to be, I don't want to be wrong about this, but I just want evidence of this. What did Shane Steichen do here? Where are the fingerprints? Show me exactly what he did, because I see everyone else mixed in. I see Stoutland. I see all these guys. And are we dumb enough to think here that, like, Gannon's been wanting a head coaching job since he got here. It was the first thing they said about him. He won't be here long. He won't be here long. It's the same thing with Shane. Can we agree that Howie Roseman and all of these guys like to get rid of shit, and you never really know who's got what? There's only the surface level of we think it's Sirianni or this or that, right? Like, what if we're handing the Colts Joe Judge here? Because I think that, whether he wants it to happen or not, he's not going to be a good head coach in Indianapolis for all the Gus Bradley having to be there and Jim Irsay and all the other bullshit. Can't we believe for a second that both guys were not as important in their roles, and that's why they're truly leaving?
Well,
they've tried to prop them up this whole time for 2 years.
We're going to have an interesting time on Thursday. We're going to have an interesting time.
He called plays. That's the thing. Like, that's just something you're going to have to, like, how's that going to work next year? Does Nick Sirianni want to take over that again, or does he want to, like, is Brian Johnson then the play caller so Nick Sirianni can keep, like, a whole this overview of what goes on the team? Like, it's legit going to be interesting to follow. Like, who's going to be responsible for play calling duties? Is it going to be, like, is Brian just going to get thrust in there, or is it going to be the same thing like last year where Nick Sirianni calls plays the first couple of weeks and then he hands it over to Shane Steichen when he like kind of knows what kind of a vein that Nick would be calling plays in, like how that structurally is going to look like.
Yeah, Thomas is a lot more polite about it than I'm going to be on Thursday. I'm going to fucking yell.
So we'll have fun with that. I actually think it might be a good thing if Nick's calling plays again. So 215-509-5833.
God damn it.
I'm just saying.
God damn it. Don't do that. I'm going to be. Is it Thursday yet?
It might be. Go see our friends at Liquid Death, liquiddeath.com/Bell, 20% off all merch. Make sure to jump in our Discord, bellthebirdmen.com. And, fellas, we'll see you on Thursday. Thomas, I can't believe you we're hanging out for all this, man.
If I can actually get in on a plane, otherwise I might actually be here on Thursday and keep crashing on.
Which is fine. You can hang out in Philly as long as you want, man. So if this is the last time we see you, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming all this way and hanging out. And
it's been an absolute blast. And seeing everything you guys got going on here, man, I hope it keeps growing, and love what you guys are doing. It's a phenomenal thing. Like, I've been looking over Vince's shoulder, just seeing what's been going on and how you guys are working and how hard you're working on this. And wish the best for you.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you
man.
so much. And shout out your YouTube channel, obviously, because there is no better person to break down tape on YouTube, man. This is maybe we dive in together on the off season, because we need some answers on
We're due.
draft time and all that stuff.
Definitely not going to be. There's not going to be a sleeping time or a rest time. Like, we're going to go. I'm probably going to take a little bit of time here. The YouTube channel is called Breaking the Birds. Thank you for reminding me. I suck at promoting my thing. But yeah, take a little bit of time. We'll go through some of the Super Bowl stuff. Definitely going to go through Jalen Hurts, because I right now, we'll see when I get to all the tape thing. I think that was the best QB performance of any quarterback this season. We might see. But yeah, there's going to be free agent stuff. There's going to be like player developmental things, like how did this player progress. We're going to go through Jordan Davis, of what he looked like this season, because he's going to get a lot of playing time moving forward. Then comes draft season. Who are we going to be looking for there? It's gonna be a blast, and we should definitely do some collab things when you guys are yelling each other out of your minds, and you want something settled on what it actually looks like on the field, and we can dive into some stuff there 100%.
I love that idea. Thank you, my friend, for Vince Quinn, for Taylor Kredatus. I'm John Barchard. This is Bell the Birdmen. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.